morning. My name is Peter, and welcome to another video or series of videos about SV Silverheels My Roads 22. Today is Wednesday, July 18th, and we are once again at Pine Island Marina and about to head off for a cruise which will hopefully last a week. And the destination this time is Narragansett Bay. So it's about 11:20, so we're not really off to an early start this morning. We're only gonna go, according to the current plans, to the other end of Fisher's Island Sound, the eastern end, and find some place to anchor in the prevailing northerly winds. And that'll position us well for tomorrow's itinerary, which is to go to Point Judith, about 20 miles, and there's no place to stop on the way, so we have to make the whole distance. Anyway, we're all provisioned up now and ready to go, and since the breeze is off the pier, we're going to try to get way under sail, although we'll have the motor running, of course, just in case. Well, we're off to a bit of an exciting start, unexpectedly. The weather forecast was for 5 to 10 out of the north, and it is out of the north. But my wind instrument is telling me the wind is blowing close to 20 knots. So we had too much sail right away, and I'm avoiding putting the boom in the lower position because I'd lose validity. We'll see if that sticks, but I have significantly reefed both the main and the jib, and we're still doing over 4 knots, so zooming along, especially considering that we're not going very far today. So it's now a little afternoon. I think I've got things under control to the point where I can have some lunch. It's now about 20 minutes of 4, and we are anchored near the town of Stonington, not in Stonington Harbor though, which is very crowded, but off the channel into Nappatree Beach. And I'll show you the chart. So this is a chart of the eastern end of Fisher's Island Sound and Little Narragansett Bay. So, excuse me, Pine Island Marina would be down here someplace. Here's the town of Mystic is up in here, and Stonington Harbor is in here. As I said, that is pretty much entirely full of boats. Nappatree Beach is down here, and we've come in through here and down to Nappatree Beach several times, but that's a long way, and we're not going to Nappatree Beach. So looking for protection from north winds, which is what we're expecting tonight. We came up into the beginning of this channel and then got out of the channel and a little bit north near this island here, and and we're pretty well protected there. The only downside, I guess, is that this is a pretty busy channel, so we'll get some wakes, but that should die off as the day goes on. So one of the reasons I didn't want to go all the way in here is that we want to get out bright and early and come down to the Watch Hill passages here between Nappatree Point and the east end of Fisher's Island, which will take us out into Block Island Sound. And now I need another chart. So a bigger chart, bigger area, smaller scale. Little Narragansett Bay is up in here. We're right up in this corner here. And as I said, we need to come around Napa Tree Point and past Watch Hill Point. And tomorrow's journey is along the coast of Rhode Island to Point Judith. And Watch Hill to Point Judith is about 18 miles. Well, so we want to get an early start. There's really no stopping points, no harbors along the way. So today's weather was, as I said, not what was forecast, which was 5 to 10. Winds out of the north were forecast, but we had a lot more than 5 to 10, at least some of the time. It varied quite a bit, so there was quite a lot of time where we had 15 to 20, and we had reefed, main, and jib, and there was 5 minutes when we had no wind at all. So there's a lot of up and downs, and it kept me very busy, continually evaluating the situation and making adjustments. Changing the amount of reef in the jib is pretty easy, but reefing in the main, I'm still not very good at it. I did manage to do it, at least in one case, just by kind of pointing up into the wind a little. Was on a port tack, so the boom was to starboard, which is where Stan recommends it be for that kind of maneuver. So I was kind of able in this case to reef the main kind of on the fly, and hopefully I'll get better at that, because that's a lot easier than having to go through the whole rigmarole of starting the engine and pointing the boat into the wind and then reefing them. You know, it just takes a long time. Anyway, so if tomorrow's weather is similar in wind strength, then we should have no problem getting to Point Judith under sail. If it's more typical, or what I think of as more typical July weather for this part of the world, then we'll probably end up motoring some of the way. So, as always, time will tell. So, but it's very nice here now, quite pleasant, quite sunny, and I'm having my afternoon beer. There's a little bit of breeze here. Hopefully at the moment it's not gonna make the audible inaudible. This is the view off our bow, little island with a house on it, probably a very expensive house, I would imagine. But we're shielded from most of the development, although the Amtrak train goes by a short distance from here and it blows its whistle pretty loud, so we'll probably be dealing with that all night. Here's our anchor line. And I've mentioned this before, but we're actually anchored off the bow eye, and we've got a rolling hitch, so that line is attached to our anchor line, but it's taking up the strain. Everything's slack now, so the actual anchor line here is generally slack, but it's still tied off here at the cleat in case that rolling hitch slips, which it has once or twice, but usually holds. And here is perhaps a better view of the riding sail that I showed you on the last cruise, and it still seems to be doing its job, keeping us from swinging too much at anchor. So I still find that's worth the trouble to set up. And there in the cabin is the reason that swinging at anchor is so annoying. I've got that towel there to block the setting sun. Since the wind is out of the north, we're pointed pretty much north, so sun comes in on the port side of the boat. So we put a towel up there to block it, and so long as the boat stays pointed more or less north, that will do its job. So tonight for dinner we've got American chop suey. Again, it was a dehydrated backpacking style meal. And we've got a fresh garden salad. Not very much of that actually came from our gardens yet. And a glass of wine.